boosters and can be really helpful. So he always gets some tries, but he's a big fan of chims. He doesn't like going all out in chims. He just likes throwing some in addition to hunts and triads and stuff like that. So he's a pretty big chims fan. So he said if he had Scattering right now, he'd probably go hunts and talons, and then maybe try and take the chimps or something. As if you were watching Axslav's Army, I know my audio commentary is always a little bit desynced, but he went and raped Ziggurats like no tomorrow. A lot of undead bunch their Ziggurats or make them in a big line, which makes them so easy to rape when you've got something like a level 5 panda. I mean, now especially that he's raped his Ziggs, not only does that set him back big time to have to pay for all those Ziggs, but he can't make any units right now. And Axslav knows he has no AA right now, so he knows he's going to run over him with Hippo Riders, no problem. But when they make their things, Hunts in Breath of Fire is so good at raping Ziggs. If you were watching, it took him like 10 seconds to kill 3 Ziggs. Because if they try and repair, not only does Breath of Fire kill them, but Hunter's Bounce kills the workers instantly. And especially when they make their Ziggurats in a line like that, it's so easy to target them. And 90% of undead, I know, make their Ziggs in big lines like that. So it's just so good when you have a lot of hunts to just go Zig raping, especially if you're doing something that you're afraid of them countering, like air in this situation. At this point, the game is pretty much over. Pretty much done with. As you can see, he has no AA, no towers up at his expo or anything. Axslav thought that Naga really wasn't that great of an idea, and I agree that Lich or something would have been better. I mean, Naga doesn't give much of an advantage or anything in this situation, so I would have to concur with that assessment. I was also asking him about, Axslav is like the master of the level 6 panda. Like, I don't think, against some players, when they get a level 6 panda, like, I can win, but Axslav is so good about using the ultimate and things like that. So I was asking him about any tips in general for using the panda level 6, as you can see, Darius's panda is the epitome of balance. For using level 6 panda against people, any tips? And he said one thing that he thinks a lot of people make the mistake of is they think they're so concentrating on getting the most out of their mana that they'll use their Breath of Fires until they get to 150 mana and then use their ultimate. And he says that a lot of time what they end up doing is that by the time they get to 150 mana, they've pretty much already lost the battle, so popping the ultimate won't really make a difference. And so he was just trying to stress the fact that you should use your ultimate when it's useful. You know, don't worry so much about waiting until you have 150 mana to do it. Waiting until you're down to 150 mana to do it. Just use it at a good time to use it. Even if you have full mana or something, it can still very much be worth it. And so yeah, he says try and make sure that the fire guy, because he does a buttload of damage and he has Infernal, try and make sure he's concentrating on a good unit to kill, something maybe easy to kill because he kills things fast. Use Earth Taunt really well, and just use it well. Be aware of the cooldown and things like that. I asked Axslav if he has any tips, since I know that Double War is getting popular, at least for American players. Against undead, he has any tips for undead players, and he said pretty much Tri-Hero rapes it, and that people concentrate too much on units, and people worry way too much about the expo, about the Night Elf getting the expansion up, and you can usually offset the advantage they get from having expansion by beating them in tech most of the time, so it's usually not that big of a deal. Just use Tri-Hero well. Get like DK, Lich, Crypt Lord. And I asked him about units. I said, well, do you suggest guards? He said he thinks Fiends, even if you only end up with 3 to 4 Fiends, just because they're so good at hit and running, they move pretty fast, especially with Unholy Aura, that you can just non-stop pick off hunts, back and forth, just keep impaling, novaing, coiling, just picking off hunts over and over, and eventually your hero levels get so high that, and you build up more and more fiends and stuff that you screw them. And usually late game you do have an opportunity to expand and stuff like that. So I think scouting is pretty important, being up on your scouting, and like he said, just getting to try hero as fast as possible and just doing hit and runs and picking off their army and getting your hero levels higher and stuff. So hero against mass tier 1, it's pretty much always true. Heroes are the counter. You know, it's pretty basic. So yeah. So that was his suggestion for that. I hope I didn't miss any important things he would have liked me to mention about his thinking and his style in that game. But, you know, teamag.net, once again, teamag.net, that's where he uploads most of his replays in the replay section, and he has some great replays. He's super interesting to watch. He's like the most standard player, especially for that level that I know about, and I really enjoyed playing with him and against him and stuff like that. So shout out to Axslav for letting me do an AC on one of his games and give me some time to explain some things about the game. And yeah, and thanks for playing with me and stuff. Anyway, load up the second replay, pause at the 10-second mark, put it at 1x speed. Once again, please load up the second replay, pause at the 10-second mark, and put it at 1x speed. I have to kind of do that myself right now. Yep. Alright. Be ready to unpause in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Alright, this is a human against human, Miou against fanatic Xyligan. I'm not sure if he's doing it yet, but Xyligan whines a bit in the beginning. I guess, I have no idea what happened, but I'm guessing from the chat that Xyligan wanted to play on GGC, but Miou, I'm not sure how it's said, or Meow, I don't know. I'll just call him Miou, because that's how I always think it's said. I guess Miou either couldn't or wouldn't play on GGC. And I know how Miou feels, man. People always whine when I say I can't play on GGC, and it's true. And you know, another thing that annoys me is people always ask why. Why can't you play on GGC? I don't think I've ever had one person that just said, oh, okay, you can't play on GGC, fine, whatever. It's always why. From now on, I just say I use the Mac, which isn't true, but I don't even want to go into the hour explanation of what the fuck is wrong with my connection. Besides, I'm moving soon. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be going to college, so I don't know, maybe my connection there will allow me to GGC, I'm not sure. So I know how he feels. Miou is a very cool player, cool dude. I love watching him. He's really creative. He's got his own style. He's been creative for a while. If you didn't notice, Miou speed built his altar. He used a pretty interesting build. It would be worth watching this replay a few times to get it down. And he's going to do that so he can creep his Goblin Lab real quick. Why is he doing this? As I mentioned in my last video of commentary, the new popular thing to do on TM is the Blizzard Harass, or just aggressive AM, because you usually wait to add your point. And what this does is this allows him to creep the Goblin Lab before his opponent's hero gets out and gets there. So I'm sorry, before his opponent's hero gets out and gets there, so that he doesn't have to get screwed by Blizzard Harass while creeping this. And also, if his opponent just decides to creep like he does, he'll be a little bit